So we have been talking about Kirby and the Forgotten Land DLC for a very long time now, and we've been talking about different copy abilities, which, once again, there's another video coming soon showing off even more copy abilities that could come to the Forgotten Land, but today is going to be the last time we actually talk about DLC as a whole, and the things that HAL Labs can actually do to add to this game, and how this E3 could actually be the start of what we see for maybe a DLC pack or some type of new wave coming to add additional content to the game. Of course, this game has been doing so well, it's leaving people to wonder what's next for Kirby, and of course, I also want to talk about the future of Kirby games, but I don't think we're there yet. I don't think they're really planning on the next Kirby right now or getting ready to announce or release the next Kirby anytime soon. Of course, I think they still want to work with Forgotten Land. I think the engine is great, the world and the characters that they built together is great, so it really just kind of screams like DLC should be the next choice for them. Real quick guys, let's see how many people we can get to subscribe and like this video today. If you're excited about E3 coming up very soon, probably showcasing some new stuff, maybe even Kirby DLC, leave a like and subscribe. It helps to go a long way, so that way you guys are ready to be informed on all the news getting ready to drop very soon. Also, Nintendo Land officially has a side channel now where it's all things just goofy. Me and my friends and family are going to be doing all types of crazy things and challenges for you guys to watch, and a lot of stuff is planned for the future. If you guys want to laugh and see us live, playing games, talking to you guys, and having a good time, feel free to subscribe to Strouse House. The link is in the description down below. So one of the scariest things is, will Nintendo actually fall into the same Mario Odyssey boat with Kirby and the Forgotten Land? And by Mario Odyssey boat, I mean not giving us any DLC or any additions to the game after release. Now, we did get Luigi's Balloon World, I know, but at the end of the day, it wasn't a new level, it wasn't new worlds, new enemies, new copy abilities, more power moons, anything like that. In fact, it was just a hide-and-seek mode in the worlds that we already had. Of course, that makes me wonder, will Kirby and Forgotten Land get some type of a small free update that just adds like a hard mode or something, and that's the only thing that they ended up doing? That's a very big potential. We have a wild mode already, but what if they had a chaos mode where if Kirby took one hit, he died? I think I would even want to replay the game in that mode. I think that could be kind of fun. Will they actually go out of their way to make additional content for this game? Well, one problem with Mario Odyssey was definitely probably the moon count. As much as people don't want to, initially say it, there was probably a count problem where the fact that you could actually max out 999 moons and you really couldn't add to that counter. So adding new worlds with new power moons kind of limited this unless you came up with a new collectible outside of the power moon, like stars or something again, and had a brand new counter. They definitely could have done that, but thankfully with Kirby and Forgotten Land, the counter maxes out at 300 Waddle Dees, meaning there definitely could be more to collect in some other world. I mean, just take Forgo Dreams for an example. Forgo Dreams exist in another dimension that's separate from Kirby's. Here you don't collect Waddle Dees, but instead you collect pieces of Leon's soul that adds to a different counter completely, meaning they don't have to worry about the Waddle Dee problem here. Instead, they just have slightly different versions of the world you already explored, and you get to backtrack and pretty much go throughout these new areas and find new versions of the Waddle Dee collectible being the pieces of Leon's soul. So this is definitely something that they could get around with DLC, having a completely new collectible that Kirby has to collect in order to reach a new destination, or maybe some type of specific boss. Maybe he has to collect certain keys in order to continue moving forward, or something like that. I don't know, but they could definitely figure it out for DLC. That's definitely not the problem here the way it probably was with Mario Odyssey. Now, where could this DLC take place? Now, lots of people want to see Dreamland again, but I think there's even more islands and areas on the Forgotten Land. Remember, we're just on a small piece of a landmass that's probably even bigger, a part of, probably a whole planet that we're on. We don't even know where this planet is or where this area is that the Forgotten Land actually takes place. And, we could definitely have new areas there. We could also go back to Dreamland. That would make sense, to seeing some past areas now fully in 3D. I think a lot of people would love to see that. Something that could really take us anywhere now is the fact that we have our own Kirby version of America Chavez. Elfland has the ability to summon dimensional rifts and even close them at the end of the game. So we could very well see Elfland return and maybe use these rifts in order to go to new areas. And maybe with everything that's happened within the Forgotten Land and of course Dreamland, it maybe caused ripples in time in other places that Kirby and Elfland have to go fix and solve by traveling either the multiverse or through time periods. I don't know, but that'd be really cool. It would be a really cool story factor with this character again, and maybe giving Elfland even more story to talk about. Like I stated before, I think they could even add more Treasure Roads. I think they could easily come out at E3 this year and just say, hey, Treasure Road is getting an update with more stages for you to get more rare stones, because I think we could use them to upgrade all of our copy abilities to the max capacity. And that would be a lot of fun. Also, maybe even adding new copy abilities to the fray, making even more challenges and more Treasure Roads that we can unlock and play. This would be a lot of fun, and it probably wouldn't be that long to make as well as DLC. I would definitely buy a whole bunch of DLC packs of more Treasure Roads with new copy abilities. abilities. I know we have copy abilities for a double hammer King DDD style ability and also a Meta Knight sword ability, but I would still love to see Meta Knight and King DDD be playable characters in some capacity. Maybe player 2 can play as them, and maybe they have more upgraded abilities that are a lot different than those copy abilities already in the game for Kirby. I would love to see more stuff like that, and obviously we know that these modes are changed up a little bit for these characters, so it's not the same exact game, but it does give the player a reason to go back and play through the game with obviously a new character at the helm. It does add a little bit of a difference, and sometimes the ending is even different, as with Meta Knight, there's always some type of extra character to battle, like a Galactonite or something like that, that always keeps the game exciting. I love the Coliseum in Kirby and the Forgotten Land, and the Ultimate Cup Z was tons of fun with even some new bosses and new variations thrown in the mix, which always keeps you on your toes. And I would love to see even more versions of the Coliseum. Right now there's only 3 different cups that you can enter. I would love to see more. Maybe they add bosses, for instance, from past Kirby games now thrown into this 3D environment. I would love to see bosses that just feel like they're missing here, like Cracko, for instance, would be really cool to see. For instance, if it turns out that we don't get new worlds and stuff and even new copy abilities, I would be super ecstatic for brand new boss battles and brand new arenas to fight them in. Or maybe a fun update where we get to create our own Coliseums based on whatever characters that we want to throw in there. Maybe we can combine bosses or combine mini bosses and have a whole bunch of things going on at once, just causing some chaos, being its own version of like Mario Maker, but instead a Kirby Coliseum Maker. I really love the idea of the arena always from the very beginning of Kirby games, so having more content in the arena is definitely something that I would love to see. I'd eventually love to see an arena video game, so I hope that they kind of expand this a little bit more since there's already 3 cups. Maybe that's an indicator that more will come, who can tell. I absolutely love the mouthful mode abilities, but I feel like they could have been used even more, and there's even a section at the very end of the post game that allows you to use these mouthful mode abilities to fight mini bosses, and it's seriously a ton of fun. Every single mouthful mode ability in the game has a specific amount of damage output for it, and I know a lot of people ask me, Nintendo Land, why does this matter for Kirby? Obviously he's going to have damage output to run people over, but to have a specific amount that's different from the rest of the copy abilities is very interesting. That tells me that maybe they designed you to fight a boss with Kirby one time or something, which is something that would have been really cool to have some type of boss rush mode where you get to use mouthful mode copy abilities against all the bosses. Come on, tell me that wouldn't be fun. In about a week, we will be approaching 2 months of Kirby and the Forgotten Land already, which is seriously just crazy that it's already been that long. It just feels like the game just came out yesterday to me still, and it's very exciting to see what else could come to this game as well. We know Kirby is just now starting its anniversary. There's a whole concert orchestra happening this summer, and there's rumors of lots of other Kirby goodies coming to us this year, so DLC for Forgotten Land or some type of free update is definitely probably in the works, and we probably could see something as soon as E3 this year or maybe the fall Nintendo Direct. But let me know in the comments down below what you guys think we're going to get this year. What are you guys expecting from Kirby and the Forgotten Land? If anything else could come from the game, let me know what you would like to see down below. And thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Kirby and the Forgotten Land and Nintendo in general. And like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See ya, guys.